game against them.
A loud out starts the afternoon, and there's a first pitch breaking ball that steals a strike for Taylor Ward. Ward 2 for 8 in the series. He's got singles in each of the first 2 games in the set. The Braves are playing him to pull the ball. Not everybody defends him that way.
It's an interesting matchup too, because Anderson throws a lot of changeups, and Taylor Ward has hit off-speed pitches very well. A 1071 OPS versus off-speed.
Another thing that's interesting about matchups like this one is that Anderson is a reverse splits guy. Right-handers hit 100 points better than lefties do against him. It's the biggest gap of any starter with at least 18 assignments.
Changeup is the reason for that. It's much more effective against a left-handed batter. He's not as comfortable throwing his changeup because it will fade in towards the swing path of a right-handed batter and down and away against a left-handed batter. Then you'll see a lot more rollover ground balls on his changeup as a lefty as compared to a right-handed batter against him.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Taylor Ward. And there's a pitch driven into deep left field. And it's gone. Taylor just had enough. Exploring a 385.5-foot homer.
Yes.
Into left field, and the Angels have their first lead in a long time.
And it's amazing when you see somebody with success against the changeup does it again. Off-speed pitch, mentioned that OPS, dominant, drives that one out on a warm afternoon. And there's the cowboy hat, back in the saddle again.
The Angels' first lead in 46 innings. 1-0 Halos, and doesn't it feel good to say that?
That's
and what
knock.
A great bunt by Jared Walsh. A wide open left side, and he perfectly places it up the third base bag.
He goes that changeup, and it was down exactly where that changeup will run in, more so against a right-handed batter, and he hit that ball exceptionally well left center. Taylor Ward, you mentioned those numbers, those splits, those power numbers too for right-handed batters against it. That's a 9th home run he's allowed to a right-handed batter, only 2 to lefties. What a bunt that was, a perfect pitch to bunt. It was elevated enough where you can just place the bat out there and just put it right down the third base line for Jared Walsh, who's had a big series here now after struggling the first 3 at-bats of game 1. 5th hit in the last game and a half now.
I'll bring up Luis Rengifo, who's got a 6-game hitting streak active this afternoon. He's reached base safely in 16 consecutive games. Already a great start to the day for the Angels. And Rengifo has a base hit. First and second with 1 away. And all the action has been so fast we haven't even set the defense for the Braves yet. Let's get that out of the way. Heredia, Harris, and Acuna in the outfield. No change in the infield this afternoon. Riley, Swanson, Arcia, and Olson. The only change for this one, the most notable one, is William Contreras catching. An all-star this year for the first time in his career, and he's back out there to receive Ian Anderson.
And Swanson has been outstanding in the shortstop position. 987 fielding percentage, #1 in the game in the shortstop position. We've seen him at the plate. We know how well he runs, but he's been outstanding with the glove.
Max Stassi wastes no time. That's into center field. They're going to wave Walsh around. He'll score. The throw's cut off. Rengifo to third. 2-0 Angels.
Now that's Max Stassi being aggressive in the count. And that's the 3rd hit on a changeup this inning against Anderson. Coming in, it's a 197 batting average. That's right at the heart of the plate. Jumps on it. Quick hands for Max Stassi. Picking up a 17th RBI. Well, he has a whiff percentage over 35% on his changeup. He's not getting many of them now here so far with his changeup.
4 straight hits, starting with the Ward homer. First and third, 2 runs in with only 1 away for Joe Adell, and it's a fastball that starts Joe with a strike. Adell looking for his first hit of the series, 0 for 5 with a walk here in 2 games in Atlanta. You know, this gets us back Gooby, to what we were talking about earlier in the series, does a starter stay with his strengths, or does he try to match up against the opponent's weakness? You know, the Angels are not a good fastball hitting team. They can hit spin and off speed.
Yep, and number hitters hit off speed very well. And you're right, that's his number one pitch. But I think you still have to go what you're seeing. A team struggling against a certain pitch. Even though your best pitch is a changeup, they're having a tough time with the fastball. Until they make that adjustment as a pitcher, you got to try to exploit that. Well, he hasn't. He's stuck with his changeup.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Joe Adell. Rengifo, the runner at third, extending his hitting streak to 7 in a row. Stassi on a first pitch single at first base. Into right field. Acuna got a late break. It's a base hit. Scoring from third is Rengifo. 3-0 Angels. Acuna had a hard time picking up the baseball.
I think almost a sound off the bat. They froze him out in right field as if he thought it was going to be hit harder and farther. See, it sounded like he squared it up, but he didn't. It's a lot closer play to the plate than you would think. That's a pretty good arm throwing it home.
Slide might have made you feel a little bit better, you're saying?
Yeah, I was a little nervous on that throw.
Yeah. It's all good. Todo bien.
What a nice start. This is what the Angels were doing in the beginning part of the season.
Yes.
Scoring a lot of runs early, allowing their starting pitchers to go out with a lead and be more aggressive. Go back to, let's go to our Hyundai key for the game today. Going a little ludicrous today. Get back to that approach and swing, being aggressive, putting the ball in play and scoring some early runs. That's exactly what we're seeing so far. So get back, ludicrous.
Here is former Brave Phil Gosselin, who would love nothing more than to keep this fire hot. 5 straight one-out hits have greeted Ian Anderson in the top of the first today. You know, here's another really encouraging thing. A few of these hits coming with runners in scoring position. The Angels have really struggled in that capacity. If you get through the top of the order, the 4 through 9 part of the Angels lineup has really struggled to drive in runs. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, the only out of this inning was a baseball that was hit hard by Shohei Ohtani to left center. Got it all the way to the warning track. Very encouraging to see the offense. They were out taking batting practice today, which you usually don't see on a Sunday.
In July in Atlanta.
Yes.
Where it's a little warm. And it's 2-1 to Gosselin.
And it's not a dry heat like we love to say often.
It's very much not a dry heat. You know, the Angels' July batting average with runners in scoring position coming into the game today was 149. They have stepped up here early on this afternoon, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Gosselin, and it kind of gets you to wondering, from the Braves standpoint, on a day where it does not look like Anderson is entirely sharp, at what point do they get their bullpen going?
They have some fresh arms down there.
How much leash does he have at this point? 3-1 pitch to Gosselin, misses for ball 4, and that's going to load the bases.
This might get a call down to the bullpen now. Coming off back-to-back starts against the Nationals, which he combined to walk 7 batters in 10 2/3 innings pitched. This is his first walk. Now loaded the bases here for Brandon Marsh. They try to do more damage here in the first.
Marsh looking for his first hit in the series. 0 for 5 in a couple of days back in his home state. 0-1. Joe Adell collects his first hit of the series this inning. We'll see if Marsh can follow suit. A base hit here makes it a 5-0 game early on. 6 straight Angels have reached base safely since the first out was recorded, and it's 1-1 now.
And always go back to the thought process as a hitter. All you want is one run. That means think base hit. If you get a mistake, okay, you might get a grand slam, but you're thinking base hit, driving in one, maybe two. Up the middle approach with the bases loaded.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Marsh. Well, the Angels have put 3 runs on the board early this afternoon. And they are almost at their entire run scoring total over their last 4 games. 5 runs in 4 games leading into this afternoon. 3 runs in about 6 minutes so far today. 1-2 to Marsh. A bouncing ball to first. Olsen to second for 1. Relays not in time. Another run scores. 4-0 Angels.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, you're just trying to make some contact. He was able to do that and get that run home. Real surprising to see the Angels with this kind of approach and good damage against a changeup for a person who throws an excellent changeup. That's a changeup middle down against Taylor Ward. Home run. Staying true to what he's done on off speed there. A changeup against Luis Rengifo, pulls it through the hole. And then another changeup, first pitch swing, and Max Stassi. So 3 hits on the changeup. Coming in, mentioned a batting average under 200 versus his changeup with 49 strikeouts.
Andrew Velasquez punches it to the left side. It's deflected by Riley. Adele scores. 5-0 Angels.
Making contact.
Boy, and swinging aggressively in the counts.
Yep.
I mean, the Angels aren't waiting around. And it's been secondary stuff that's been the downfall of Ian Anderson. Starting these 0-0 counts with changeups and breaking balls, and the Angels are there to whack that stuff.
444 for hitters against Anderson this season.